an opportunity to be able to express their plans and visions for the area that they're being elected for.
Hi, my name's Emma, and today I'm going to be interviewing Thomas Hogg in order to get a better understanding of his views and why he thinks he's the best person to get your vote.
Mr. Wade, first I'd like to thank you for coming to Coole Studios this evening to take part in our special election interview.
Thanks very much for the invitation, Tyler. I look forward to hopefully answering all the questions that you have for me.
Thank you.
I'm here with Councillor Robert Foster, who is running for the Ulster Unionist Party in the local elections. So firstly, I'd like to thank you for coming to Coole Studios today. I'd also like to thank you on behalf of the young people here for this opportunity. But most of all, I would like to give you the opportunity, and each candidate the opportunity, to express their plans and visions for the area that they're being elected for.
Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me here today. It's great to see young people in this estate taking the initiative and sort of promoting themselves, because young people in this estate do get a bad name, and the work goes on in this NACN and various groups throughout this estate is fantastic, and I'm really glad to be here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and answer your questions.
Going by the Antrim and Newton Abbey Community Planning Report, it states there is one community centre for a population of 19,592 people. Do you feel that this caters for all of the community?
Absolutely not. As long as I can remember, I've always said this community in Rathcoole alone needs a community centre of its own. When I stood for the Assembly elections in 2017, one of the things at the time was we wanted to have a transfer of deed of the school to the community to use it as a community facility, and we warned what would happen. We warned it would fall into disrepair and be vandalised, and the community could have been in there. There was groups put out of it. The school lay in disrepair and wasn't used. So this estate doesn't just need it has to have a hub, and that could be the lifeblood of this estate. And any new housing that would go on that site has to be accompanied by infrastructure. Should be a community centre is one thing, a wellbeing centre, dentists, doctors, something else. You can't just build houses without infrastructure. And this community has, for far too long, Rush Park is a community centre, there's community centres in Glengormley, there's community centre in Monkstown, Ballyduff. This community has been deprived, and I watched a video from 1952 of the inception of this estate, and in it stated that they were looking to build a community centre. Here we are in 2019, still no community centre, so no, I don't think the provision's there at all. I don't agree with it.
One of the positive things over the last 5 years is the growth of the community sector here in Rathcoole and the increase in the number of community and voluntary organisations serving the area, including Newton Abbey Arts and Cultural Network. The council in the last term obtained the Dunani Centre from the Rathcoole Churches Group, and one of the decisions several months ago was that we would carry out a review of community facilities in Rathcoole. We'll be engaging with local groups in the area and existing users in the Dunani Centre, but one of the things that we've identified is that there is a need for increased and enhanced community facilities, and if I'm re-elected, that will be one of the key issues that I'll be pushing for in the new term. Whether that's an extension at the Dunani Centre or indeed a new facility, but as I said, with the growth of groups in the area, there is a need to provide a facility that can cater for them.
It depends on the area. As part of the review of community centres, the council did a survey of usage. So not every area would have the same numbers actually using the community centre. My view would be to try and increase the usage. I know they're a very valuable asset in communities. My background was community work. I was involved with the Merrill Residents Association, the youth leader there. So I know the value of having a community centre in the community. So as I say, I would be looking to support council staff in getting better use of the community centres that we have.
As a young person that will be looking for a place to live in a few years, can you tell me, how would you support local young people in getting good quality housing in the Rathcoole area so we don't have to move away from the safety of our family and friends?
Housing is probably one of the biggest issues that I deal with day to day. Over the last 5 years, we've seen an unprecedented number of new build social homes in Rathcoole, and that's given a lot of young people an opportunity to stay in the area, close to their family and friends. Even next door here, we've got 24 units being built for over 55s, and that will allow active elderly to have lifetime homes that can be equipped to meet their needs, and in turn then this will hopefully free up additional family homes in the area for young people and families.
One of the difficulties of Rathcoole as an area is the lack of space to build further properties. And one of the advantages and disadvantages over the years is that there has been so much sitting tenant purchase of property. So the rented property sector has diminished considerably. There are plans for some of the housing associations to build in the area, but that needs to be closely monitored, because what I would not like to see is the loss of green open space. I think it's important to have that in an area. So in terms of creating new housing, it would be to support the housing associations who have built and would look to continue to build. It's not within the council remit, but I would like to see, and it's something that I would encourage my colleagues in the Assembly, to allow the executive to buy back properties that are on the open market, and that way increase the housing stock that's available for letting within the area.
Well, that's a very good question, and it's one that I have actually posed to the housing executive, because you can build over 55s and they're telling me their list says over 55s, but I have as many young people coming to me looking for housing, can't get on, and it's reverse discrimination in my opinion, because unless you have an illness, an ailment or a need, you don't get onto the list, and if you work and you don't have any disabilities, your points are lower than anybody else. So I think it's reverse discrimination, and young people are discriminated against from getting onto housing, and not just this estate but in Northern Ireland. And I think the policy has to reflect that the young people are the lifeblood of an area, whether it be Rathcoole, Monkstown, Ballyduff, Glengormley, and they have to integrate with their community and stay there and live there, not move away to other areas because they're lost. And it's young people that are going to drive the growth in this estate through businesses, through their education, through whatever jobs they do. So the policy has to change to reflect that young people need to be housed in areas in their own area. So I do fully support that, and I have brought this up to the housing executive at the highest level, that young people are being left behind. There is no provision. We look at the housing that's being built just beside us here, more over 55 housing. I don't say that they don't need that, but there is provision required in this area for young people to have housing. Yes, I do agree with you.
Yeah. As a councillor, what do you think are the barriers for young people growing up in this area?
There's many barriers, and the first I would say would be education. I sit as governor of two of the local schools, and I was chair of Newtonabbey Community High School. I'm grandparent to 11 children, so I know the value of good education. The local primary school here needs a lot of support, and myself and colleagues in council are supporting the principal there and trying to get the school up to standard, because it's not up to standard. We were quite shocked when we looked at the standard of the school, and we jointly wrote to the Education Authority to try and get them to address that. So good education is paramount. Safety in the community for young people, again, is another major issue. We have to have a safe community for young people to socialise, to meet. They have to have facilities, community facilities they can go along to. And employment then would be the next barrier. There's very little business within the Rathcoole area, as you would know. Through the neighbourhood renewal, the economic subgroup which I sit on, we're constantly trying to get young people into local jobs. Also, we're running trade fairs to bring employers in so that young people can see what's available. I belonged to the original Newtonabbey Partnership, which dealt with a lot of the issues in Rathcoole, and one of the major ones that we identified then was that not just young people but the residents of Rathcoole were reluctant to move outside Rathcoole. I think that has changed somewhat, but there's still an element of it, so we need to be working at community level to let the residents of Rathcoole see that there is a safety in moving outside the Rathcoole area. And I think it must be remembered, I'm not just a councillor for Rathcoole, I'm a councillor for Macedon, which is a massive, massive area. So these issues are also in Rathburn and Ferna and Abbots Cross. And, you know, it's, as a councillor and with my colleagues in council, we need to be addressing issues that make this a cleaner, safer place for everybody, but particularly for our young people.
I think there's a lot of stigmatism with young people going into this area. I think young people are demonised from the majority of young people in this estate, in this area, are very good and they don't do anything wrong, but the stigma of the antisocial behaviour that goes in here, people give young people a bad name. The work that goes on in this group here, you know, from the very inception of this group, it's brought young people into it that have nothing. Young people don't have anything to do in this estate. There's no, the youth centre is not open, and we've been pushing and pushing and pushing for that. We've tried to get the youth centre to come into the community more, to use it as a community facility, but there's some sort of barrier there that they don't want to become integrated with the community. There's no youth centre, provision at weekends, there's no community centre. Young people just don't want to play football. Young people want to do other things, express themselves in different ways, and I think that's what's fantastic about what the work NACN do, where you have yourselves doing your journalism, you have drama, you have singing academies, you know, the stuff that goes on in this estate that doesn't get reported, the good in this estate doesn't get reported, and the barriers to young people are, there's not things that they want to do. Not every young person wants to play football or go ice skating or hockey. You know, they don't want to do that. They want to go and learn how to program and do coding now and do things like that. So I think there has to be more of a survey, and the survey taken on board to what young people want. You have to ask people what they want. You don't just give someone something and say, there you go, there's something. So I think it needs to be an involved. You have to empower, engage, mentor and enable young people to aspire to be the good people that they can be.
Well, I think for some people there is a lack of aspiration. So what we need to do is encourage people, regardless of their background, where they're from, to fulfill their very best and to encourage them and equip them to go and achieve all of their goals in life.
With rumours going around that the high-rise tower blocks that have become a symbol for Rathcoole are going to be demolished, can you provide a response to this, and can you share with us if you think these flats could be used to provide suitable accommodation for young people in the area?
I actually would not like to see them used for young people in the area. I would like to see good quality housing in the area for young people. I don't believe the multi-stories, while some will remain, if the decision is made by the housing executive to demolish them, then I would be supportive of that. I don't think they're safe, as was been proved in London with the Tower Block fire, and I've always had a fear that there could be a similar fire here in Rathcoole or Rush Park or elsewhere in Northern Ireland.
The multis are iconic. No matter where you do, if you say to somebody in Rathcoole, they know that they recognise it with the flats. But like Cardiff Cranes, they're sort of associated with Belfast, so the multis have always been there. And I think the multis have to be kept. I think the level of investment should be put in, because for the housing executive to say that it would cost too much, it's not right. There's people who live in those flats who feel safe in those flats, especially older people. You've got your concierge, and they can close their door and they know nobody can get to them. They feel safe in that environment. They've lived there a long time and they don't want to leave.
I've opposed the housing executive's tower block strategy, and if I'm re-elected I'll continue to do so. My party opposed the strategy when it was brought to the housing executive board several weeks ago. In Rathcoole there is already considerable housing stress in the area, and to remove the tower blocks would displace a large number of tenants who would need to be rehoused elsewhere.
So I recognise there's a housing need, but the executive have given the commitment that where multi-stories are being removed, there will be housing put in its place. So I would like to see that good quality housing instead of the multi-stories. I know the iconic value of the 4 blocks that are there, but I think that's something we're going to have to just bite the bullet and make sure that we get good quality housing rather than just a symbol in Rathcoole.
And I think when you look around the world, people are building high-rise flats that. So the safety issue has to be addressed, yes, but I don't think it's insurmountable. And I'd like to see the level of investment that's went into those multis at the end should be put into the rest of them. And I think it's an absolute disgrace that one sits empty. And I've said this all along, and we have people who are crying out for housing, and there's 50 3-bedroom flats sitting empty there which could house them. So I don't just think you can't just push this onto the community and say we're knocking these down. You have to include them, and you have to give them the option of how can we fix this, because there's been too much investment there, and I don't know how. And they keep telling me when they knock them down they can build the same amount of properties on that ground. I fail to see how you can. I really fail to see how you can. So I think that the housing in the area is lacking. You've got 50 sitting empty, and there should be a plan put in place to look at how you bring those up to a standard that are acceptable for people to live in and safe for people to live in. That's a paramount thing. Grenfell, it happened in London, an awful tragedy. There's lessons learned from that. A lot of that isn't a problem here. The cladding isn't a problem here. You know, we understand that the cladding was a problem, but I think the housing sector need to put a plan down to say what their car block strategy is going to cost an awful lot of money. We have no executive in this country to make a decision, so I don't know where you're going to go. I think in my lifetime those multis will still be here. I really do. I don't see them going in my lifetime. But yes, to answer your question, I believe they should be there. They're iconic. They aren't bad accommodation, and they can be so much better.
Thomas, I'd just like to thank you again for coming down and answering my questions and taking part. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your questions, and I must say again, it's been fantastic to be here, and it's good to see you so engaged and doing something so. Your initiative is fantastic, doing this journalism and letting me address you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Well done.
If re-elected, would you come back in a year's time and do another interview to tell us about everything that you've promised to do that has been done?
I've been a councillor 8 months. I don't know where you know or not, and round here, so the Christmas tree at the diamond, I have to get that sorted out. The streets on a bi-weekly cleaning rota. You maybe see the sweepers around here more often.
Yes.
And I've been trying to tackle a bit of dog fouling as well, because it's very bad in the area, you probably know.
Do you mind if we ask you another question?
Certainly.
What kind of feedback are you getting as you're going on the board?
Well, I think there's quite good awareness of the council elections. Obviously, people are talking about the larger issues, Brexit and so forth. A lot of people are very frustrated that the result of the referendum hasn't been fulfilled. Obviously, the DUP supports a full Brexit. Several local issues coming up too, in the Clockfern area and the Kings Park. Generally, I think the support's been good, and I look forward to the election on the 2nd of May.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
All right.
So as you can see, councillors are out trying to gather as many votes as possible. So who will you be voting for?